Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Fare Thee Well. I thought my recording software is gonna fucking crash on me for a second there because it took I hit the start recording button and it was just like, oh, spinning wheel of death. But anyways, we're just gonna load back into this game. This is the one. Hours pass and it's clear that we've all reached our limit. The clock behind the bar reads 3:36. My goodness, I hadn't realized how early it's gotten. I really should be going. Rosa stands and puts on her coat. Thank you all for a wonderful evening. I'm truly grateful. Rosa, would you mind if I walk you back to your motel? Candace sneaks a wink and a thumbs up in my direction. I can't help but grin. Well, okay, that's very nice of you to offer. As the two prepare to leave, Candace begins to clean up while I lean back in my chair and stretch my tired bones. You wouldn't be stretching your tired bones, you'd be stretching your tired muscles. I'd be concerned if you were stretching your bones. I think anyone would be concerned if you're stretching your bones. That sounds like a method of torture. Or physically impossible. It just sounds like it, because I'm pretty sure the bones are gonna break if you try to do that. Hey Rosa, could you just wait by the door? I'll be there in a minute. Sure. Michael, now standing in front of me alone, turns to me. I just wanted to thank you. Tonight has been one of the most sorry, I thought there's like two. Oh, I loaded up 2 instances of the game. No wonder. That's hilarious. I had 2 instances of the game up at the same time and I didn't notice until just now. That's awful. I'm sorry. And now I have a spinning wheel of death. Tonight has been one of the most memorable nights of my life, and it's all thanks to your encouragement. There's no need to thank me. We all had a good time. I don't know why I keep getting the spinning wheel of death. I think it's time I left Setter. I've spent more time in this little town than I'd intended to. It's the first time I ever came back somewhere. But now it's time I move on. Life will go on here just as it always has. My journey is far from finished. This place has taught me a lot, and I'd like to think I've given something back. Though no other place will ever quite fill the gap Setter will doubtlessly leave in my life, I chose to make Setter a part of me, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Maybe I don't need to thank you, but let me anyway. You've always been a good friend to me. Let me do the same for you. Michael extends his hand to me, and I take it in mine. We exchange a handshake, meaningful to each of us in different ways. Thank you. Goodbye, Michael. I take a long look around the cozy bar I've become so familiar with. I see the table. What? Did it freeze? Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. I see the tables and the booths where Candace's royal patrons, gather after a long day's work. I see the bar where I first met Candace and her father before her. I see the stage where I first saw Emmeline all those years ago. The same stage that Rosa just performed on a few hours ago. I close my eyes and breathe in and breath in. And breath in. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? You just made me break my immersion. Fuck you. Sorry. No, fuck you! Fuck you! Fucking typo. I close my eyes and breath in the familiar... Breathe. You're supposed to put an E there. In the familiar sense of pine, fire, and alcohol. Oh, lots of good things go together. I will surely miss Setter. I'll miss the hearth and home. I'll miss Candace, Michael, and now Rosa. I'll miss Emmeline. I will miss them all, but I will never forget them. That's kind of what missing them implies. You'll never forget them. I stand and walk over to the coat rack, which sits beside the door. My coat is now hanging alone. After putting my coat on, I start out the door. but I'm quickly halted by the length of a broomstick being thrust in front of me. I know what you're about to do. I never expected you'd stay forever. About 2 hours ago, I figured this would be your last night in Setter. Candace looks very serious when compared to her normal, more gleeful demeanor. Is she gonna confess her love to me? Now, after seeing you just a moment ago, I'm certain. It's just time I moved on, Candace. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to stop you. What is it then? She cracks a slight smile but gives nothing away. Before you go, there's something you need to see. Well, what is it? Come with me. Candace takes me by the arm and leads me behind the bar, through a door, and down a flight of stairs into the wine cellar. She reaches into an empty section of the wine rack and produces a large sealed envelope. There's a chair over there. Take as much time as you need. She hands me the envelope and walks over to the door. Candace turns back to me. She looks sad for a brief moment, but then smiles again. It's been fun. Thank you. Without another word, she turns once more, closing the door behind her. I sit down in Candace's chair and look at the envelope in my hands. I run my hand across its smooth surface, wondering what this is. It's a fucking letter. What do you think? Carefully, I tear open the envelope at its seal. Inside are 3 smaller envelopes, each marked with a date, 1967, 1987, and 2002. I start with the envelope labeled 1967. Inside is a letter, handwritten. The handwriting is excellent and unmistakably feminine. Hello, stranger. Oh, boy. Hello, stranger. 2 nights ago you swooped into my life. You shared with me the best night of my life. And then you were gone, with more mystery than your arrival. For the few hours we spent together, all seemed to be right in the world. All my cares had gone away. It was truly blissful. And then you left so suddenly, so abruptly. You never even said goodbye. The magic dissipated instantly. My bliss shattered, leaving only pain and confusion. That night that we shared, why did we share it? Why did you come into my life, if only to leave hours later? Please don't misunderstand me, dear stranger. I'm not angry. I hold nothing against you. I only wish I could understand why that night happened. I was sure that we were both so happy, but when you left, I began to have doubts. Had I done something wrong? Were you not happy as I thought you to be? Of course, thinking back to it now, it all seems a bit silly. It was one night, nothing gained and nothing lost. I'm sure you had your reasons for leaving. I'm glad it happened. I will always remember it. However, dear stranger, should I ever see you again, though it seems doubtful, please help me to understand what that night meant. I have an aching desire to know. To be honest, I'm not sure that you will ever read this letter, but I take comfort in knowing that it will not matter if you read it or not. This letter doesn't really mean anything. All I have written here is just the result of one impossible yet undeniable experience, the ramblings of a young woman. My dear stranger, I wrote all of this to ask for an explanation, but it's now clear to me that I will never receive one. You don't owe it to me, so please don't feel as though you do. I'm happy enough to keep the memories of that night precious without anything more. So, my stranger, although you never said it yourself, I will say it now. Goodbye, stranger. Emmeline. It took me a few moments, but I eventually was able to reach for the second letter. Dated 1987. Oh God, what else? I traced a finger over the now familiar script of Emmeline's handwriting before reading her words. Dear young man. Okay. Dear young man, I didn't want to believe it was you. Why would you return after just leaving me there? But your face was unmistakable. I'm sure you've heard the expression about not having aged a day. We usually reserve this for women too vain for the truth or people who've recently had plastic surgery. But in your case, you actually haven't. You looked exactly the same as you had all those years ago. I hadn't expected you to return at all after you'd left me. For a while, I was left to theorize, and I let my imagination run wild. What are you? Some kind of alien in human skin? A super advanced machine? A vampire? And then I remembered one of the things you had talked about. The legend of an eternal wanderer. At the time, I dismissed it as drunken rambling. Then I saw you, just yesterday. It had been 2 decades since I'd seen you. Memories fade, but I had my first suspicions when I saw you with Michael. You were helping each other with the audio cables. You might not have even recognized it, but I saw clear admiration in your eyes. Admiration and more envy. I guess if you really are to live forever, you could never again know childlike wonder and curiosity like Michael could. And then I saw your reflection in the window as I was leaving. I recalled that time when we frolicked around the city in the snow in that moment, and I knew it was you. And now there's the matter of your cover. If you truly intend to work at the Hearth and Home, then I'll see you again. Believe me, the temptation is very real to reveal you what you are. But what exactly would that solve? No, it's better to let bygones be bygones. There's no space there. I'd gain nothing by revealing you, and it would just cause you to leave again. I'm sure you're used to that process by now. I considered asking you what occurred in your past travels. Who else did you meet? Anyone famous? How long have you been around? The things usual people would ask of someone like you, but honestly, the numbers and faces of the past matter less than what you felt. Is that supposed to say than what you felt? I've been on the other side of it. Your emotions. I know what you felt. I'll admit that I hated you for a while after you leaving me on that bench, but now I understand. I forgive you. I hope one day you find a place, or more likely a time, that you can flourish in. With as much loss as I've experienced, yours could only be worse. I wish you the best, stranger. Sincerely, Emmeline. She signed her name in that familiar script. I could feel the pressure of tears welling in my eyes now. Who put the goddamn sliced onions over here? Wishing I could have spoken to her. If she knew who I was, then I could have apologized for leaving her all alone on that frosty bench decades ago. Clearly, she had cared for me enough to not reveal who I was to everyone. At the very least, I had the privilege of making that kind of connection, the only kind of connection I could truly ever establish. Okay. My throat is dying. So, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode, of course I'm leaving it right here. If you guys enjoyed this episode of Fare Thee Well and would like to see more of this game, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!